I wanted to share a thing with you, Ben, specifically. I'm using a DJI mic with a Rode mic holder, so excuse the crooked funkiness of it. Back at the beginning of this year, I was looking to get a new office chair because the one I had was just kind of an Amazon cheapie. I'd had it for barely over a year. It was like fake leather, and actually I really liked the comfort of it. I liked the design of it. It had like a footrest. It was really nice, but the like fake leather started cracking after just a couple months, and it was bad. I put like tape on it and patched it up. I don't know. So this is the one I landed on, which is from a brand, a very well-known brand called R-Shark. And, part of the reason I'm getting it was definitely because of the San Jose Sharks. And I figured, why not? But I like this chair a lot because it has a cushy seat. It has a headrest. It has little armrests that can even that can even lift and move, but it's also like a good size to me as not a huge person. Like my elbows fit on the armrests really well. The chair's pretty lightweight, so like it's a good size for me. My other previous chair no longer belongs to me, and this is actually pretty much probably overall the best office chair. I had one at my classroom as well that I had since like 2012. This is just an IKEA chair. It used to be like $60 or $70. I think now they're $100, but now they only make them in black. But I got this really cool Finley one in 2019, and then when we got Finley in 2020, literally ever since he was a puppy, this is just basically his chair. And it's held up honestly pretty well. Some of the fake leather is like cracking and peeling, but I think that's from getting smashed under the old desk. I don't even think that's from Finley. His little beans and paws have definitely like scratched it up, but it's held up really well, especially for being a white chair. The problem is this is literally like his safe space on planet Earth. This is his favorite place to be, his most comfortable place. He gets upset if someone else is sitting in it, and I can't take his chair away from him. And that's why I really liked this R-Shark chair, because see how as somebody who needs to move things around, don't worry, buddy, it's okay. As somebody who needs to move things around this space, which we've already established is a pretty small space often, a chair like this is super easy to get in and out the door, in and around. It works really, really well rather than a big, huge, heavy office chair. So honestly, it's the perfect chair. Except that I'm 95% sure that this chair is the reason I have had horrible back pain for the past 6 months, to the point where I've had to go to doctors, I've had to go to physical therapy. We bought a new mattress, which was not in the budget, to try to fix it. And I think I've narrowed it down to this chair, because a couple weeks after I got this, I started having some pain right here, but I play hockey, so I kind of assumed anytime I have pain, oh, it must be from hockey. But then I was having like pain flare-ups. I thought I broke a rib. I thought I had a broken rib because it just hurt constantly. It hurt to move. And I really thought that it was because of hockey, except that there were times when I wasn't playing, when I'd have like breaks, and then I would have flare-ups where I couldn't sleep, I couldn't like move. It was horrible. I went to doctors, I went to chiropractor. I ended up in physical therapy for 2 months, which really kind of helped, except that all the modifications, all the exercises I was doing, everything, when those were all done, it was time to work, and I would come sit in my chair and just continue to injure the muscle. So I think it was narrowed down to like a severely strained lat muscle right here in my back. And so when you're working at your desk, this side, your right side, is your mouse hand, and probably some stretching, and reaching and stuff as well. And while I did like these armrests, the problem is that they are not height adjustable. So I guess this is just, it doesn't seem bad. My arms are at like 90 degrees, but I guess it's just not a good height for me. But what I noticed is when I'm working, for some reason, they're just kind of like, it's almost like I'm leaning on this side, and it's just putting all kinds of tension here. And for some reason, something about this chair just does that. You got your lumbar support, you got your tension support, you can rock back a little bit, you got your head and your neck support. It's very adjustable. It feels very comfortable. It's soft. It's like, honestly, when I got this chair, I was like, this is a fantastic chair. Oh, except that it's causing me a lot of pain. The other thing to mention about this chair is the material. So it's like a mesh material all over on the seat, the back, and the headrest. And it's soft, but it does not, if you have like any kind of sensitivity towards textures on your skin, Well, this is just a nightmare because everything that you touch just has this weird, meshy, scratchy texture. And so sitting here, like my elbows would hurt, my back felt okay, but also like after sitting in the chair for not even that long, 45 minutes to an hour, my butt would start to burn. And then the other thing is if I have like cotton or, you know, like, I don't know, cotton shorts, whatever these fancy Amazon shorts are, I noticed that like they were starting to get like torn up in the butt, like almost like shredded and pilling and weird textures. So it's like I'd buy a new pair of shorts and then suddenly a few days later I was like, why am I just like blowing the butt out of these shorts? What's happening? And I realized it's because this is basically just sandpaper. And so all your little micro shifts here, now it's just like tearing up, not tearing up my heart, but tearing up my shorts. So I spent a little bit of time just like flipping these up and trying to work with my shoulders dropped, which I do think helped, but that's what kind of narrowed it down to, I think I need to go on the hunt for a new chair. At the end of last year, Heather got this chair, which is the most baller chair either of us have ever had. It is a Corsair TC500, and she loves it. It's got, well, it's like really, really high quality. Everything that feels cheap on all the chairs I've had does not feel cheap on this chair. And she likes to sit like cross-legged, and this is wide enough to do that. And I don't know, she really, really likes it. And so we've thought like, why don't I just get one of these two, just because we know that it's a good chair. But the only downside for me with this chair and other bigger chairs like it, in this space, the chair pretty much always stays here. But in my space, the chair moves around a lot. Since it's so wide, which is great for her, it's actually hard to get out of doorways. So since I pop mine into the hallway often, it's an amazing chair. It's just not the right chair for me. So here is my potential solution. It's not so secret anymore. It's the Secretlab Atlas, regular size for a regular guy. And that's the song. I know Secretlab is popular. Some people love them, some people hate them. They have a chair that's very much like Heather's chair that is like their most popular one. And this one is supposed to be like a smaller, more task-focused rather than gaming-focused version of it. So in theory, that would be perfect. Okay, so far, pretty impressed with how they've done everything here. Very pro. I didn't mention, but the Amazon chair, this was $120, I think, this one. And this one was $450, so more expensive. But here we go. So it is like a white and black, faux leather. Hopefully it's the same like high quality one, how the IKEA chair hasn't broken. And then what I really am curious about is, okay, so it actually does look like it's the same size as the current chair, which is perfect. It should be perfect. So we'll put it together and see. So far, I'm kind of like, I was almost worried that it was too small. So this chair, the regular size, is for up to 5'10", up to 220 pounds. I'm just below 5'10", and I'm just below 150 pounds. Overall quality of like the parts and the setup and everything, I'm like really impressed. Even the little thing they give you is like a magnetic little like, it's different than the Amazon chairs. So I need to like dial it in, but these go up and down, they go back and forth, and they tilt in or out, which is, I think that's exactly what yours do. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty good. The thing here, if I turn this knob, it will slide the butt slider. The seat. And then this is, you can use your little flipper here to lock it, and then it won't move. Or you can lock it at any of the angles. So here's this chair, which, I mean, this chair's always been comfy. I've always liked the comfort of it until it killed my back. And this one does have the little lumbar knob, so I don't know. So this one goes, I think this one goes higher, max height. This one's max height, I think, is a little lower. It goes here. This is way more of a firm seat than this. and this is all the leather. So first test will be to see how it fits through the door. Also, just in case it wasn't clear, this is not a sponsored thing. I did pay full price. I don't know if I got a discount because I signed up for their email newsletter, but I did pay fully for this. Will it fit through the door? Because this is a thing. Yes, look at that. Easy. And I think it looks pretty sweet in my setup. You know, like visuals, I just like things that look nice, but also since stuff has to be on camera, I think it looks nice. It's not pure white. It is definitely more of like a gray. This is pretty much a pure white chair, maybe slightly off-white, and this is obviously way grayer. But I actually really like it. I've never had anything that color, and maybe having slightly off-white will, you know, just be a little easier to keep clean over time. Now, since I did do this comparison earlier, I did just want to see, especially as someone who is shopping, here's my chair compared to Heather's chair, which I think hers is roughly the same size as the big Secretlab chair, the Titan. I think this is basically the Corsair version of that. But look at the width here versus this one, which, you know, she sits cross-legged like I mentioned. I don't. But they are, I don't know if you can tell in video, but it's noticeably, I don't know. I'm shocked at how small mine is. I've never thought of a Secretlab chair as being compact, but it actually is. And the other thing to look at is, let's turn these sideways. If you look at like the thickness here versus here, especially if I take off this pillow, like this is a very slim back and this one is a fat back, but her chair is super comfortable. And hers isn't the fake leather, it is a fabric, but it's like a very, very soft fabric. So she likes it. I think the armrests are basically the same, but those are very, very wide and they don't go in or out. So that was a big reason I wanted these here. And this is a Corgi. So now I've had the Secretlab chair for a couple of weeks at this point, and so far I really love this chair. Like, it is the best chair I've ever had, and it's not even close. But I am sort of cautiously optimistic because I've been burned in the past, you know, by the previous chair. So will this feel amazing, and then in a few months I suddenly have some other hideous pain that I have to go to physical therapy for? I hope not. But what I can say is that the pain that I've been experiencing, if I've been re-injuring that muscle basically every time I've sat down for the last 6 months, what my physical therapist told me is that it's going to take probably a couple of months for it to totally go away. So while I'm not totally pain-free, I feel like I am significantly pain reduced. And I have been really paying attention to the ergonomics with this chair. So the basic setup, I tried to follow all the rules where it's feet flat on the ground. I have a little bit of space here with my, my butt and my back firmly in there. I can lock this into focus mode. I have the armrests, which they kind of look like the same height as the other ones, but this is as low as they go. Kind of wouldn't mind if they went a little bit lower. And then they're straight out right now. I usually do actually angle them in a little bit, just so that way there's a little more arm support. And this is such a comfortable chair. And then I have the neck pillow kind of here, where like if I lean back on it, it's there, but I'm not using it all the time, and it's not up where it's like pushing my head forward. So I really did try to follow all of the documentation from Secretlab, because a lot of the book is all about ergonomics, and then I watched like a ton of YouTube videos all about, desk and chair ergonomics and things. So I think I have this dialed in pretty well. When I'm working at my desk, I've tried to make sure that like I can be as ergonomic as possible, feet on the ground, back up, good posture. And I did even lower the height of my desk for the first time in like 10 years to try to be as sort of even with these. So that way my arms aren't doing anything weird to like reach up. The desk was higher, so I was kind of doing this for a while, which I don't think is good. So normally I'm kind of like this, and I keep it locked in when I'm doing like work, and then every once in a while I will kind of like unlock it. And I really do like the multiple tension adjustments here, and especially how easy they are, because I like having just 4 of them. It's not a thing I have to dial in, because then I get paranoid that I didn't dial it in exactly right. So a lot of times I'll leave it on the highest tension, which for me, that means it barely sinks back a little bit, but it kind of rocks a little bit. If I turn this to the lowest tension, then it's like I can just easily lay back, no problem. And then for my height and weight, it said to put it on the 3rd one, which is sort of like well balanced for that. So I actually switch between those all the time depending on what I'm doing. A lot of times what I'll do is keep it on the highest tension, and then like if I'm editing a video, I'm over here in focus mode, and then I can just flip it loose, and then, you know, like if I'm watching a video back or something like that, or, you know, start playing a game in focus mode, continue playing a little bit, kind of like moving, you know, changing around a little bit seems to help a lot. I've had this desk for a really long time, and the height is better now, but I am now looking into, especially I think at 40 years old, ergonomics are just more important than they've ever been. So I'm looking into like a height adjustable desk, so that way I'd like this to be a little bit lower, but then I would like the option to just stand and not have to use a chair at all, and I feel like that would help too. So in my notes about the chair, I sort of put the good, the bad, and the other so far. The good is most of it. Pretty much everything is fantastic so far. You know, again, very cautiously optimistic. I love the controls, I love the layout, I love the feel of everything. Like this is their fancy like nano leatherette, I think. Neo leatherette. They have like 2 tiers of leatherette. This is the lower end one on the Moon version, but it feels like so good. It's the opposite of my other chair where when my skin touched it, I would kind of freak out. This is like, it feels really nice to touch. And same with the armrests. These feel really, really good. They're super soft. I really like them. It's great. The pillow is nice and cushy. Little memory foam pillow, that works really well. It sticks up there pretty nicely with a magnet. The adjustability of these is good. I will say they do slide back and forth pretty easily, but that's not hard. I keep them kind of as far back as they'll go usually. It does take a bit of force to turn them like this, which I like, because sometimes you can, like on Heather's chair, these are very easy to turn in and out, and every time I try to grab it, I accidentally like mess up the armrests. And then the height adjustment, of course, is very easy. There is a little bit of wobble here, which doesn't bother me. The only thing I was worried about with that was if I'm recording something and doing audio, like, are you going to hear it? But it hasn't been an issue. And then they don't do the in and out like the Titan does. I wish these did have the 4D adjustments where if I could just scoot them boop, in a little bit, then they would be absolutely perfect. And you can't replace these. So I like the Titan ones. You can, if these get messed up at some point, you can just swap them out. You can change different materials, different colors, all that stuff. These ones, you can't just swap this. You'd have to swap the whole armrest. There was a like pretty significant off-gassing smell from the chair, which, you know, it's not a big deal now, but for the first like 3 to 4 days, the room definitely had kind of a strange smell, and even like out sort of, it was very noticeable, and it lasted for a while, so that's just a thing. It's totally gone now. It's not a problem now, but it took a few days for that to go away. Oh, the other like bad things that I've noticed, which I'm being pretty picky, there is a little bit of wiggle. You can kind of hear it. There's a little bit of wiggle there, which honestly, I wouldn't have noticed, except that I read like a comment on Reddit where somebody mentioned that, and then I was like, oh, mine does that. And then I noticed, so I don't know if it matters, but it's just a thing. I guess it'd be nice if it didn't. And then the other thing, which is actually very, very mild, has to do with the armrest, and I've seen this on other Secretlab chairs. I don't like that the logo is here. Not for visuals, but because of texture, you can feel it. These are so smooth and so soft. And then every time your arm kind of hits it, it feels almost like there's something there, like a piece of dirt or gunk that needs to be wiped off, but it's just the logo. Like, I wish this was either on the back or just not there at all, so these were totally smooth. And that's just a weird little, like, these are perfect, and then there's, like, why do that? But those are pretty minor gripes for what has otherwise been a super fantastic chair. I think it was worth every penny that I spent on it, at least so far. It feels great. I love all the materials. I will say, if you don't use this, I guess you're not supposed to use this as a headrest, but this is very hard. It's definitely not like a cushy headrest without the pillow. So I don't know if that's a thing that it's just a thing to be aware of. It's not really set up in a way where your head even touches it without the headrest, but just sort of something to be aware of. I think a lot of chairs, even Heather's chairs, like that, because it's sort of hard here because that's where the magnets are. I do think, though, that a big reason I've liked this chair so much is because I did get the proper size for me. And so I do want to just be super clear that everything I'm saying about this chair or any chair, it's so specific to your height, your weight, your proportions, your physiology and musculoskeletal situations. So just because this chair feels great for me, it does not mean it's gonna feel great for you, but I'm kind of hoping that like you can use my size as an example for how this might or might not work for you. Being just under 5'10" and just under 150 pounds, the regular chair was definitely the way to go. If I had gotten the large, it would have been way too large for sure. And this is still pretty new at the time I'm recording this, so most of the videos I found about it in the reviews were ones that had been sent out, and I don't know if Secretlabs only sent out large versions of the chair, or I feel like they would ask. I feel like they would have to ask somebody, what size do you need before they send it out? But it seems like every review I found was the large version, even when people did not need the large version. And don't size up if you don't need to, especially because the armrests on the large one, it's going to be wider. And so if you're my size or smaller, you're really not going to be able to reach the armrests comfortably. The lumbar support's going to fit differently. Secretlabs, I did see that they posted a thing on Reddit, someone from their support team, where if you're a regular size person, but for whatever reason you just can't get the height that you need. I keep this at just below maximum height, so it's not a super tall chair, but they did say, I don't know if this is a free thing or a paid thing, you can reach out to their customer support and get a different like riser piston thing if you need extra height, just because you got super long legs or whatever, you're just proportionally that's what you need, even though you're in the regular size chair. Don't size up if you don't need it. It's going back to playing hockey. With hockey skates, your skate size is roughly 2 sizes smaller than your shoe size. But you know what you see at every rink when guys it's mostly guys, go to rent skates or skate shops where they go to buy them. Guys don't want to size down. They don't want to have like a smaller shoe size. And so they get skates that are way too big. And you can't use skates that are multiple sizes too big. They cause all kinds of problems. It does not work at all. And I think the same thing applies here. I know there's a thing where it's like, I'm a big dude and I need a big chair, but it's like, dude, you're 5'7". Like, get the regular chair. Same goes if you're like, I don't want to think that I need the large chair, but you do need get the large chair. And that goes with any chair that you buy, because getting the thing that is the proper size for you is going to be the thing that helps it like work. And I say this as somebody who has never had a really nice chair before. The Amazon chairs have been the nicest ones I've had in the past. And prior to those, I used a hand-me-down chair that my mom gave me from her old job like 20 years before that was honestly never even worked. The back was broken the whole time and like crooked. And I used that chair for like 10 years, like literally all through college, all through my teaching career, into starting YouTube. I just used the same crummy, broken chair. And I don't know, maybe I was in my 20s and 30s, it didn't matter. In your 40s, ergonomics are a thing that are worth paying attention to, and probably something that's worth paying attention to even earlier than that. So far, the Secretlab Atlas has been a fantastic chair for me, and if you're kind of in the market for that, I hope this is helping you get the info you need to figure out if this might be a direction you want to go in, or equally as important, if it's not a direction that you want to go in, because whatever you choose, get the best thing that you can get for your body and your budget. Where's your chair review? Oh,